Thanks for staying with us. So joining us on the show is the President, Nigeria Internet Registration Association, NiRA, Mr. Mohammed Rodman. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much, Mariah. Thank you.
When I heard NiRA, I'm like, another Nigerian organization, another way to chop money. every little thing, they start an organization, they put a president, before you know it, they say they have a budget. So what is this organization for exactly? Because we have so many other, we have NCC, we have others around that internet. And what's your agency about?
Thank you so much for that question. Honestly, we are not a government agency.
Oh, good.
Just so that you know.
Oh, good.
We have an MOU, of course, with government called the National Information Technology Development Agency. But NiRA is a not-for-profit organization, a membership-based organization. So you can become a member, and you can be in this same position that I'm here in. So we don't receive money from government.
Good.
And because it's a business, selling of the brand, the .ng. NiRA are the custodians of the .ng. So .ng is called the country code top-level domain for Nigeria. You have .uk for UK, .za for South Africa, and all the rest. So for Nigeria, it's .ng, and it's a multi-stakeholder organization that are supposed to drive this because it's part of it is government, part of it is the private sector. It's a kind of public-private partnership.
So why is it necessary? What does a .ng mean? What are the benefits to having a .ng?
So you see, a lot of people ask this question. It's our own online identity. What defines you to be a Hausa man or a Yoruba man or an Igbo man is just the name, the identity. But we are all proud of our own tribes and culture. The same thing with the .ng. Technically, there is no difference between .ng and .com, .net, and every other top-level domain, technically.
Well, aren't you late to the party? I mean, we've been .coming for years. You're late to the party. We're all kind of used to the .com.
Yeah, absolutely right. They have the first mover advantage. They were the beginning of the internet. It's, you know, VeriSign is the American company that is managing the .com, and it's an American company that started from the inception of the internet. So, of course, they have the first mover advantage. It's over the years that ngTLDs were created. That is for other countries. They use an ISO standard for the 2 character for each of the countries of the world. And it took time for other countries to adopt their own. In fact, as we speak, some of the African countries are still struggling to adopt their own brand. So in Nigeria, we're not really late because of their first entrance of .com. Almost all the available names are already taken, are gone. They have over 100 million registrations. So the opportunity here is you have the names local, and if you have a trademark, you have a registered company in Nigeria, and someone registered that, you can sue him. It's within your jurisdiction, and NiRA can give it back to you.
I like that one.
Yes. So you can take it back. Somebody registered tvc.ng, for example. Of course, NiRA will automatically hand it over back to you. But if he registers tvc.com, it's out of the question. You can't.
Absolutely.
When government wanted to register NiRA, I think someone else registered NiRA.com. So the availability of those names
that's
is
compelling.
What's the
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, for instance, I have a website for celebration.net. We couldn't get .com because somebody else registered it and then tried to sell it back to us. And no way.
Exactly.
So if I say, let me leave .net and go to .ng, what are the benefits I would get from going to .ng?
First is the availability of the name. And in .ng, we discourage domain squatting. You buy a domain, you hold it, waiting for someone else to come and buy it from you. Immediately you register a brand coming on board, government or anything, you can register on that.com, but on that.ng we discourage that. And as long as you can prove it's yours, you have a registered company or you have a trademark, we automatically give it back to you. So the availability is there.
No, what I'm saying is, can I leave .net? Would it benefit me to leave .net and go to .ng?
Yes. So one of the benefits is that search engine optimization when you're using Google and all that. And most of the companies that are registered in Nigeria, 80% of the traffic they want people to view are from within the country, right? So if you register .ng, your ranking on the internet goes higher, especially within the Nigerian viewers. If you're a global company, of course, I can say you can go for a .com, but most of the companies that are registered in Nigeria are more focused within the country. So
nice.
that is one of the advantages. And we said the other one is the availability of the name, as I mentioned.
I like the fact that we can come to you just because this happens a lot of time. You want to register a ngTLD.com and somebody has taken it, but because it's a Nigerian domain, I can call Mr. Mohammed and say, you know what, this is mine. I want it back.
Somebody else has the ngTLD. The person is not ngTLD.
Yes, I like that. Fantastic.
So that is that. Yes.
Yeah, clear. Okay.
So I wanted to ask concerning the cost, because I'm someone, good idea is taking my money every year. Like I have like 6 domains that I'm paying for. I have .school, .com. I have a .ng, but I just wanted to talk about the costing, because for many people, they look at it in terms of .co for me was because it was cheap. It was the cheapest. .co.
Correct.
So my company is .co, and because it offered me the cheapest available name, even compared to .ng.
Correct.
So, and also we have this thing where people don't want to be seen as local, you know. So they want to be seen as global. And if I put .ng, then I'm seen as a Nigerian company, and it might affect how I'm being perceived internationally. So can you help address those two?
Oh, okay. So the first one is
Cost.
the cost. So you see, Nigeria is among the first countries in the world to open up. You know, if we look at ccTLDs, all the other countries something. For example, .uk is not open. You have to buy .co, .uk, .org, .uk. The same thing with us, South Africa, .co.za. Correct. Nigeria is among the first set of people. We are registering .com, .ng, and the rest. We are the first set of people, apart from Canada and one other country, I think, that joined the bandwagon to open up the second level domain. So you can easily buy anything .ng. So when we opened up, we realized that we need to make revenue. It's a premium now. It's a premium service because people buy .com, .ng. They don't want the names to be longer. Because it's premium, we had to increase the price. So that's why the price of .ng directly is expensive. But if you want to buy .com.ng, is as low as, for example, as 1,000 naira for that domain. And we give opportunity for people that want to register their names. You have name.ng, which is as low as 400 naira.
Per month or per year?
Per year, per annum, correct. So for the .ng, it's a bit on the high side. We were selling it at that time as high as around 15,000 naira. So what we did was recently, that was reviewed downward by almost 50%. The idea is to encourage Nigerians to buy that. So for affordability, because initially our operational cost was on the high side and the registered domains are small. As we increase the registrations and we have strategic cash reserve now as a not-for-profit organization, the objective now has changed to ensure that all Nigerians can afford a .ng. So we dropped the cost of the .ng and anybody can buy it now. And we are selling these things through registrars. It's not NiRA directly. There are Nigerian companies, about 73 of them, that can now do the business. So you can reach out to any one of them and you can register a .ng. And
The perception she talked about, I like you to address that. Perception, seeing like a Nigerian company.
So this is one of the major problems in Nigeria and African countries. And to be honest with you, if we don't change that paradigm, we are in trouble. Because basically Nigeria is an importation country now. Almost all the containers that come, substantial part of them go back empty. The same thing with the internet. We are more of download than offload. So if we are not patriotic, we will never change. And therefore, what I would do is I always encourage Nigerians to buy their own brand, the .ng. Initially, of course, you might not find it as fancy as the rest, but if we are proud of ourselves, gradually, consistently, that will change. Korea, for example, decided they need to change that paradigm, and they have empowered companies, and companies like Samsung are all coming on board now. And recently, they want to go into the movie industry. They spent $5 billion, and you can see Korean movies are all over the place.
Yes,
so that is it. Nigerians too must adopt that .ng and be proud of it for us to make progress.
So I get it now. So it's a buy Niger to grow Niger thing.
Correct.
Yes, but in what ways, apart from dropping the price, are we trying to get Nigerians on board? Because like now, until you explain the fact that this identity thing, it has to be me that wants to be affiliated with a .ng, you know, not someone else trying to tell me, you know, determine what my brand should be. So in what other ways, apart from what you have just said and dropping the price, can we get Nigerians to get on board so we can help?
So it's constant sensitization, and that's why we are here. We are all over the place trying to sensitize them to buy the .ng. And the second thing is, honestly, the ease of registration. If you want to buy a .ng, you buy with your NiRA card, and it's a local transaction. If you want to buy a foreign domain, right now, with your NiRA card, you can't pay because all the banks have blocked that.
You have to pay with a dollar card.
And that is capital flight. If you're paying in US dollars, that is Nigerian money leaving the shores out of Nigeria. So the ease of doing transaction is what we are also encouraging. So that you use your local card and you make payment, and it's
and we also work all over the world.
Exactly.
You get the same traction that you get.
Same visibility. As I said, technically, it's exactly the same thing. There is no difference whatsoever between
would it affect our Gmails, our Yahoo mails? Because would that affect this if we change our domain, or how does it affect our emails?
No. You see, for every domain you buy, you can have email addresses under it. So if you are using a Gmail, of course, Gmail is a free email services that they offered. The idea is they use it for marketing purpose. They get their revenue from marketing. But if you want to have your own company and your own identity, of course, you must have an email under that identity. So your Gmail is operating completely independent. When you register your own name now under name.ng, you can have an email address.
Like info at Moriah.
Exactly. Info, you can put your surname at morayo.name.ng, for example. So it's your own specific brand, and you are in control of it. There is no adverts, and is protected. It's your own. You have the rights over it than just Gmail.
So is there like government policy or government policy you would like to ask government to push to make it maybe almost compulsory for government corporations to use it?
Okay. It actually links to, so there was there's this question about the fact that every Nigerian registers their company, and we have to have TIN number, so we have a tax code.
Correct. So
immediately I register my company, I automatically have .ng, so I might be less willing to go and start paying for .com since automatically I have a .ng. Are you working on that?
Yes, so two things you have raised now. One, the government mandate, as she has mentioned, and you are talking about maybe when you register, maybe through CAC to automatically have a name. For government mandate, yes, government over the years have been trying to ensure that all government parastatals, agencies have adopted the .ng. And the adoption was slow, but recently we have seen significant improvement. With the current minister, there is a new policy that ensures all government websites are using .gov.ng, and not only that, they are hosting that information locally, because when you have content, we have a website, it's just the window, right? And then you have the information on that website, and that information is residing somewhere. So most of the time people say it's in the cloud, but cloud is a physical infrastructure that resides somewhere. So government agencies are now mandated to ensure that all their information reside within Nigerian data centers. That ensures data sovereignty. So there is a policy before like that, and to be honest with you, this policy is from the Federal Executive Council, and we have the National Information Technology Development Agency, NIDA, that are ensuring that that policy is implemented. So NiRA is part of NIDA towards ensuring that that policy is implemented. All government agencies to have .gov.ng. So as you propose, is already in the pipeline, and I think very soon you will see that all government websites are being compliant.
All right, let's go on a break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're going to continue. Yes, there's a question you wanted to ask.
Yes, I already asked the question about putting in a permanent mandate. The same way you have TIN while you're registering, you should also automatically have that as part of.
No, so to be honest with you, as I said, we are not for profit organization. We are not encouraging government in any way to compel anybody to use the services of .ng. We are private. We encourage people to participate. And to be honest with you, they said you can take a horse to a river. You can't compel him to drink. So people can buy .ng but not necessarily use it. You have it as a name, but it's not even online. So for us, it's to encourage Nigerians to see the importance of adopting .ng. Okay. And when it comes to that registration, we're trying to collaborate right now with CAC. We have reached out to them, Corporate Affairs Commission, to ensure that when Nigerians register a company, at least they can have options of registering .ng for free, at least for the first year. And we're looking at even at a deeper level to see how that website the homepage will be designed for free, and even the hosting will be done for free. So when you register a company, automatically you have the name, the design of the homepage, plus email addresses and the hosting within a Nigerian data center as a bundle service. After the during the second year, maybe if you want, you can renew the service at a fee. That's our own.
Yes.
But you have
Earlier, when you were
for free.
Yeah.
It sounds really
good.
I mean, people watching now.
Correct. So we are working on that, honestly.
that also makes me think, like, I know you say you're a not-for-profit organization,
Correct.
so you're willing to do all these things for free. Was the catch? But I just wanted to say, when you were explaining earlier, you mentioned things like local data hosting and data sovereignty. What's the connection with the .ng?
Okay, so the .ng it's just the domain name, the window that connects you to the internet. And as I said earlier, if you go, that URL is just a link. Behind it, there is so much content and information.
Yes.
So the data sovereignty you're talking about is, for example, when you have a Nigerian government website. Lagos State, for example, the governor has an email address and the website is hosted out of Nigeria, right? When he sends an email to his personal assistant, that email traverses, you know that Nigeria is connected to the internet through submarine cables, subsea cables. And it will traverse those subsea cables all the way to where the hosting of that Lagos State website is. Possibly is in America, for example. It will go all the way to America. When the PA wants to see that email, he has to go all the way to the server in America to fetch it. On the process, the information has traversed different countries to reach America. So when you're talking about data sovereignty, it means that the countries that fiber passes through actually eavesdrop, can intercept and read the communication. There was a PRISM project in America where there was a time, the leak of documents, and this is how governments usually find ways to look at what other countries are doing. So for data sovereignty, it's important that all government websites, all of them, including state to local government, resides within Nigeria. And to be honest with you, that's for the security aspect. But you look at the data localization, and it's related to the data sovereignty. If you host your information outside Nigeria, for you have to go out there to fetch it, right? But if it's local within Nigeria, you have shortened the distance. It doesn't have to go through the submarine cable for 10,000 kilometers. And because it's local, it's closer to you, it's faster. And because it's closer to you, it's cheaper. You don't longer need to pay the transport. Because those submarine cables, people invest as high as $600–700 million to lay the submarine cables all the way to Europe. So when you localize, internet is cheap. That's why people travel to America and other European countries say, internet is very cheap. Why? Because the information is within their own country. Russia right now, you can't block them because substantial part of Russian content is within Russia. So you can't block them. Even if you disconnect them from the internet, Russia will be able to survive because they have their own internet. So these are some of the advantages. It drops the cost because the cost of data will significantly drop because you don't need to go outside. Because you are patronizing local data centers, your information in Nigeria, you give opportunity for those data centers to flourish. You give them opportunity to employ more hands. You give the local people opportunity to have the relevant skills to manage those servers and the data centers. Yes. So you create an entire ecosystem out of that. Because when a lot of people think it's just the cloud, so they put their information on the cloud. But the cloud is somewhere in the world, and that cloud is raining US dollars somewhere. So if you bring back the cloud into your country,
you rain it in my country.
Exactly. So that's what we keep pushing. So the .ng is just the window, but we are encouraging more.
So if I'm hosting a .ng domain with my company, can I migrate it to a different company?
Exactly. So when you have a .ng, we have about 73 registrars, and those are options. So you can move from one person to another. Because, this is business. We can't say you have to stick to one. Some businesses are serious, some are not serious. But we encourage all Nigerians to become registrars of .ng. So if you want to move, you can move. All you need to just do is go to register.ng. All the serious registrars are there, and you can move from one person to the other.
I have a silly question.
Yes, please.
Please don't be upset. I'm just getting educated for the first time.
No.
So I noticed that when we get to the search engine Google, and sometimes you put in some things that are local to us, information that you should get, but you will not get it. You get it either from America, the UK, but the Nigerian stories are hard to find. Could it have anything to do with not localizing our data?
No.
Okay.
Those are two different things. You see, the issue is we don't do much research, and even if we do, it's not available. So, for example, almost all the theses that students are doing in Nigeria, researchers for PhD, for masters, where is it? In other countries, it's available. You log into a portal, you can see all the theses. Here, you can't see it because each one is printed in hard copy and is stored somewhere. So most of these researchers, apart from, for example, Nigerian Bureau of Statistics and the rest that are making information available out there on the internet, the problem is that that information is not digitized. And most of these researches are done actually by government and by educational institutions. And those educational institutions do not have sufficient internet connection. They don't even know how to go about it. So that information is not there. So that's another entirely different problem.
Another stupid question.
No.
Donald Trump said that Africa, they are just managing us, that if they like, they will just remove us from the internet.
Yeah.
And we will not have internet.
That's why I say we should do.
So if we register with .ng, do you have that? How Donald Trump can stop us now from having access to internet when they are tired?
So let me tell you the truth. America cannot, before now, internet was invented from America, and it was out of what is called Defense Advanced Research Project Agency for security reasons. Then later it became global as internet. So America were in charge of, there is what is called, if you, whatever name you search, you see in your handbook now, if you dial the name of somebody, the number automatically comes in its dials. So on the internet, it's also numbers that are working. So when you dial any, for example, a government website, lagostate.gov.ng, is translated into numbers and it goes on the internet. So those servers that are translating the phone book of the internet is controlled by American government. So over the years, when the internet becomes so big and other countries are joining, have you heard of what is called a global internet forum? So Internet Governance Forum, Internet Governance. We do it in Nigeria. Right now, there is next one is taking place in Addis Ababa, I think in November. Global Internet Governance Forum. China, the rest of the countries insisted that that control must be given out from America to the global internet community. An organization was created called ICANN, Internet Corporation for Assigned Name and Numbers. If that organization at that time want to shut down the internet for any country, they'll just tweak, and the internet will be done because you will not have the translation of those names. But right now, it's in the hands of everyone, including Nigerian government, to manage that. So American government cannot stop the internet from Nigeria. The only thing they can do, if they look at your major service providers, in Nigeria you have internet ISPs, right? You know ISPs are in different tiers. There is what is called ISP tier 3, the ones that sell internet to you. So they buy an internet from ISP tier 2. Those are the submarine cable operators that take it to Europe. And then there is what is called ISP tier 1. Those are global networks. So what they can do to disconnect you is to ensure that those global networks, as long as the American companies supplying Nigerian tier 2 supplying tier 3, they will say disconnect that. And that's what they did for Russia. Cogent Networks is one of the largest networks in Russia, and the American government stopped them from supplying internet to Russia, for example. That is what they can do, but not completely stop it, but stop the service providers.
In Nigeria, we have a trust issue. We don't, as much as this, it sounds very patriotic to support these kinds of things, but the average Nigerian doesn't trust the Nigerian system. So they'll say, I'd rather my domain in .com, because tomorrow this draconian government can say, okay, because we want to shut down this, so we're shutting down all the companies, all the SME. You know, they are afraid that any government can just come and just shut down, because that's what they do in Nigeria sometimes. So how do we believe in this? As patriotic as it sounds, some Nigerians are still thinking, I'd rather not.
So to be honest with you, you're absolutely right. But we are here with you in Nigeria. Nigerian government blocked Twitter.
Yep.
And Twitter is not local, is it? Is it under .ng? So Nigeria, as a government, if they decide to drop the entire internet, they can do that, right? But it's draconian, as you said, and it's not something that is being encouraged. So there is this trust deficit between the citizens and government. And it's not NiRA.ng, and it's all of us collectively that should try and build up. And that's why, to be honest with you, Nigerians should participate in politics. They should have their PVC, ensure that they vote the right candidates. Because as long as you allow the wrong people to be at the helm of affairs, certainly wrong decisions will be taken. So it's a collective thing that all Nigerians must do. And to be honest with you, it starts from buying your .ng, buying your local product. If you see some Abashu, buy. If you see a non-so car, you have opportunity to buy. Buy. Because that is the only way to change it. And this is where government are supposed to drive this. But unfortunately, the National Orientation Agency are not doing that much. But they need to sensitize us. We need to be patriotic for us. We don't have any other place but
So you are saying that government can just coins internet?
You see, all they need
They
to
want
what they want is the regulators, Nigerian Communication Commission, can write to any of the ISPs to say, shut down these websites. And because if they are mandated to do it,
Sir, off your mic, sir.
We have to wrap up. That's all. I think our time is up.
And it's not only in Nigeria, it's everywhere in the world. All regulators in the world have these powers, and that's why they are fighting for democracy. If you go to Korea now, South Korea, I mean, North Korea, for example, all this access to websites is not there. So government are powerful. And it is not government of Nigeria. All the governments in the world
China
are powerful. Exactly.
You don't have
but
access
it's democracy gradually that comes in, and eventually you see the right decisions are taken.
Thank you so much, Mr. Raju.
Thank you so much.
You educated us.
Educated.
Thank you so much.
I have many questions for you.
So many.
I'm delighted to be here.
Next time.
I'm available anytime. I'm available. Thank you so much.
That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, move on to other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.